Good afternoon and welcome to our Thrive for Five, DECA's chapter campaigns. Thank you for joining us. We have expert panelists. We have Keegan O'Brien from Appleton East High School joining us today, and we're hopeful that we have two more advisors, actually three more advisors that will be joining us shortly. So we're going to go ahead and begin by sharing with you the 5 chapter campaigns that DECA has set forth this year for your chapters to not only thrive, but to earn some really cool rewards. So let's start with how we can utilize these. I'm going to go ahead and put up some PowerPoint slides here so you can follow along. All right, here we go. So our objectives today are to take a look at how you can implement these chapter campaigns into your classroom instruction, how you can really get your members engaged and excited about getting involved in DECA this year, and getting your development strategies set, and then earn recognition, which is really the fun part to this. We want you all to thrive with as many activities as you can. We have 5 available campaigns. They are the promotional campaign. We have a Global Entrepreneurship Week campaign. We have our community service, our membership, and an advocacy campaign. 4 out of the 5 of these campaigns will take place, one in October and November, the other 3 in November, and another one in February. So first, let's start with our promotional campaign. And I'm going to move my bar down here a little so I can see. There we go. So our promotional campaign, and I'm going to read off of here, involves doing 3 school outreach activities, 3 community outreach activities, and getting 3 or sharing stories of 3 alumni who have been successful. Now let me clarify a few things, and then I'm going to ask Keegan to join in with some of his successful activities that have allowed his chapter in the past to earn recognition for the highest rewards in this campaign. First, in your chapter, your school outreach activities, these are things that you're going to do within your school to promote DECA. They can be, there's a variety of things that are listed on our website. Activities and such as hosting a breakfast for your administrators or your teachers, maybe doing a Find a DECA Diamond contest. That's something that my students did as a chapter. We posted DECA Diamonds around the school. We asked teachers to hide them in their classrooms, in the library, in the lunchroom, and students would find them and then bring them to our school store for a prize. And then they got a chance to get an explanation of what DECA was about. So there's a lot of activities you can do within your school to really help promote DECA. And you need to do 3 of those activities within the month of October, which is now, or the month of November. For the community outreach activities, there are a lot of different ways that you can go out in the community and share what DECA is about. You can actually contact your local chamber of commerce. That's what we did we had a school-based enterprise, so we integrated it there. But you can get involved there. You can contact business leaders and bring them in to talk to your students, as well as learn from them and have your students share with them what DECA is about, how they can get involved with maybe your local district or regional competitions, those type of things. So on our website, we actually have a large list of examples, but those examples are just a few. You can create your own activities and events that work for you. When you get to the portion of this campaign that is the successful stories for your alumni, these do not necessarily have to be alumni from your chapter. They can be alumni from anywhere. They can be people living in your community, business leaders who were part of DECA when they were in school. So look for those folks, get a picture. You're going to want to get that posted. When you're ready, there's a website or a link to our website that we're going to give you at the end of this presentation that helps you to register, and you're going to register all of your activities and events online. So with that, I want to pass this over to Keegan and have you maybe share some of your successful activities that were part of this type of campaign.
All right, thanks, Sandy. One thing I'd like to say before I get into some of the activities we've done is I really work with my officers and my members, and we plan everything really thoroughly. So for example, if one of the parts of our campaign requires posters to be put up around the school, in our program of work it says 20 posters must be printed by X date and which member is going to be putting up those posters. That way you know that everything's going to get done. In the past, we would just say, we're going to do this event, but then things would fall through. So be detailed with your planning. In regards to the promotional campaign, this is something we've really been doing since I started 10 years ago, and it used to just be DECA week. Now it's DECA month, which allows you a lot more freedom to get some of these events done in time, where I think people might have been stressed in the past of trying to pull off getting all these events done in 1 week. We at Appleton East are still doing it in 1 week just because that has worked for our chapter. That's another thing. You have to figure out what the culture is at your school with your kids and what activities they think are beneficial for your students and for your chapter members. Some of the things that we decided we are going to do this year for the community outreach, we do a lot of community service activities. So this year we are doing a fall yard cleanup where we coordinate between all of the clubs in our school. We coordinate it, where we go out and rake leaves for elderly and disabled people within the Appleton community, and we put out a press release to get names of people that fit that criteria, and then we have a piece of lunch afterwards. We do a trick or can event because our DECA week is during the week of Halloween. This is an event that we took from another chapter, like all of our events, we learn from successful chapters. So next Monday we're going to go out and distribute flyers saying, hey, on the night of Halloween, our DECA members will be coming around the neighborhood, and instead of collecting candy, we're going to be collecting canned food goods and non-perishable food items. The community really enjoys that activity, and a lot of chapters in the state of Wisconsin use that. Actually, Wausau West is implementing it this year for the first time, and they were featured on the news. 4 of their officers were right at the news desk because that's something new in their area. So those are things some of the news likes to kind of comment on and feature. So those are good events to do. One thing that we didn't do until last year, because we always kind of had that attitude that we probably couldn't, was a proclamation from the mayor. And we said, well, why not? Why don't we try? So we contacted the mayor's office to see if he would proclaim DECA week, and it was a really easy process. DECA has the form already on their website. You just need to update it for your specific chapter. And he took the time to meet with us. Our officer team gives him an overview of what we're going to be doing throughout the year, and it's a good connection to make. And it's surprising how many people will say yes when you just ask. School outreach, we're doing a bunch of things this year because those are the most fun for us. We do dress-up days. I think a lot of chapters do those. We have a brand day where they wear their favorite brand, professional dress day. This year we're doing a throwback day where they can just wear anything they consider a throwback. We have a DECA t-shirt day and then a school spirit day to end the week. We put member locker posters on every one of our members' lockers, so we have about 200 student members, and that just really looks cool in the school when you walk around and see the DECA logo on that many lockers. We're going to do the staff diamonds this year, where every staff member gets a DECA diamond with their name on it and a thank you, and that will go on their door. We do the MDA Miracle Minute, where in 1 minute during part of the school day, you have to figure out what works for you. We collect as much money as we can for Muscular Dystrophy Association, and that's another good community service activity. We do an MDA Tape a Teacher to the Wall event. This is something a lot of chapters in Wisconsin do, where we get teacher volunteers that are kind of popular with the student body to volunteer a lunch hour where they can be duct taped to the wall, and we sell pieces of duct tape for that, and all the profits from that go to the Muscular Dystrophy Association. We shoot our YouTube commercial for a Wisconsin DECA initiative during that week, but anytime you can do something cool like that the kids really get into, it led to a lot more involvement over the course of the year. We're really excited about shooting our video again this year. We are doing a supply drive this year between all the DECA members and the business and marketing classes to benefit local domestic violence shelters. So that's going to be a competition we hold between classes with a pizza lunch or donuts or something going to the winning class. And then the alumni stories. It's amazing how many alumni want to share the success that they've had. So just identifying those students that you've had in the past that you know are doing good things now. And I usually just email them or call them and say, hey, what are you doing now? What do you remember the most about DECA? What did you like the best? How has DECA impacted you? And they're willing to share that information. And usually in the website that Chris sends the link for, you're just entering, kind of an update on where those students are, and then they do a brief bio on it if you reach these campaign levels. And like Sandy said, if you're starting a new chapter, just start asking around and ask other people, do you know anybody that was in DECA around the area? It doesn't even have to be anyone that was in your chapter necessarily if you're starting a brand new one. So just because you see that, don't let that scare you from doing this promotional campaign. One other piece is Chris and the staff at DECA put together this Be a Hero guide. And this is on DECA.org under the Advisors tab. That is an excellent resource. I'm a 10th year advisor, and I still read this cover to cover over the summer after I saw it. It's just got so much good information, so many great activities that were proven successful by other chapters. So take advantage, don't reinvent the wheel. Find out, show this to your kids. A lot of times, I think something might not be cool, and my kids see it and they say, or my students see it and they say, yeah, we can do that, let's do that. So, be willing to take on some of these challenges.
All right, Keegan, thank you so much. You made me want to go back in the classroom and use all your ideas. Those are amazing. Oh my goodness. And thank you for sharing the Be a Hero book. For so many of you, I know that trying to integrate a campaign along with trying to start a chapter or being a new advisor is really a challenge. And that book, I'm a 14-year veteran of teaching marketing and doing DECA, and I still love to open it up and read it. And I get to train new advisors, but I find it fascinating, and some of the ideas and cool ideas especially that are in there are very valuable. So you will find some neat ideas that will help you with these campaigns. And like Keegan said, I mean, you just, you do what fits the culture of your school. I have to back up a little and apologize. I didn't introduce Chris Young. Chris is our director in the high school division, so he's here helping us today to make sure our Google Hangout is successful. And I'm sure if he has anything to add, we'll hear from him as well. So now we're moving on to our Global Entrepreneurship Week campaign. And I love this because one of the things that was challenging for me was we did not teach an entrepreneurship course in our school, but I still felt it was significantly important to integrate it into my upper level classes. So we looked at a lot of the competitive events for this, but this gives your students an opportunity, if you want to integrate those concepts into doing something that's very valuable. And the Entrepreneurship Week campaign is a little different. It's not the whole month of November, it's actually a very specific week. It will take place November 12th through the 18th. And what you're going to do is similar to the promotional campaign, where you are going to want to do 3 school outreach activities, community outreach activities, and success stories. Now, here's something that I need to note. The activities that you're doing for school outreach and community outreach need to be different from what you did in the promotional campaign. So you're going to want to plan for those. Like Appleton East, they do a lot of different events. Don't let that overwhelm you. If this is not something that you can fit in, then look at it at the next campaign we're going to talk about. But again, they do need to be different. What is convenient is if you cannot come up with 6 different alumni, you can use your alumni success stories from the entrepreneurship if they fit the promotional campaign. Or if you have an entrepreneur alumni success story that you're going to utilize for the promotional campaign, you are certainly welcome to use it for the entrepreneurship one as well. But the activities need to be unique for each campaign. We realize that it's difficult to find a lot of people out there in their busy schedules for some schools who are new at this. So, find as many alumni as you can, but you can cross-reference those in both campaigns if you need to. With these activities, there's something really exciting out there on our website called the Idea Challenge, and that's going to actually be something that may help you with this campaign as well. So you'll want to look at our website for the Idea Challenge. That's celebrating Entrepreneurship Week as well. So, but getting back to this, again, it's 3 + 3 + 3. You have to do all 3 of those areas in order to complete that campaign. So I'm going to let Keegan talk a little bit about this, and then when we get to the end, I'll explain a little bit more detail about what the requirements are for these campaigns in the blue boxes. So Keegan, it's you now.
All right, this is one of those campaigns that we saw last year, and we didn't take the time to really fully understand it. We saw the word global entrepreneurship, and we just said, we probably can't do that. I mean, we're not global at anything. But it's really the Global Entrepreneurship Week is put on by the Kauffman Foundation, and they're trying to promote entrepreneurship on a global level. So your local chapter can participate in this one-week campaign, and those activities must happen during the dates of Global Entrepreneurship Week. So I think it's November 12th through the 18th. If you go to unleashingideas.org, you can find a lot of great activities to use. That's where we found most of the stuff that we decided to go with. And you can also register your chapter. You have to register before the week in order to get the awards from National DECA. And then you're also going to enter the activities that you plan for that week. So some of the things that we're doing this year, and again, find out what works for your chapter, is we're going to do, kind of like Sandy talked about with the DECA Diamond Hunt through her school, we're going to do the Global Entrepreneurship Week logo. It's that circle with all the different colors. We're going to do a hunt throughout our school for that with some entrepreneurial facts on the back, and then when students turn those in, they can redeem those for some kind of coupon or something for our school-based enterprise. And then our Global Entrepreneurship Week member locker posters, just like our DECA Week posters, we're going to be featuring the logo on all of our DECA members' lockers. We're going to have a lemonade stand kind of competition between our DECA officers, and they each are going to be given $25, and they need to create some kind of healthy food product with a team that they get of DECA members, and then they each have to determine how they're going to price it, how they're going to market it, how they're going to distribute it within one school day during that Global Entrepreneurship Week, and then whichever team has the winning amount, they'll be, or the most profit, they'll be declared our winners. So one of our officers is kind of steering that project in its entirety, and she knows a lot more about it than I do. For the community outreach, again, we've worked with our mayor's office. He's declaring it Global Entrepreneurship Week for the city of Appleton, and that was something that was not hard to do. We've connected with a local entrepreneur and author of the book Lemonade Stand Economics, and he is coming in for a 1-hour session to discuss with parents the advantages of entrepreneurship for young people and the ability for our young people to go through college without having to take out student loans if they start entrepreneurial ventures at a young age. So we're really cool. That's our highlight of our week. We're going to have an entrepreneurial speaker panel in some of our classes in the afternoon one of those days, and those are from our business partners that we got as members over the summer. We are also highlighting some of our chapter members whose parents are entrepreneurs in our display case. It's a nice give back to those people, and it's another way to show that we do have entrepreneurs and that our parents of members that students know. And then our alumni stories, again, this was one of the ones that I thought, oh, that's going to be tough. I'm only in my 10th year. But after I did some research, you know, it doesn't have to be like huge businesses that these students open. I have a student who started a college business. It's a kind of a part-time business, but it is an entrepreneur. I have a friend who was in the DECA chapter at the school I advised while I was still in high school with a different teacher. He's an alumni DECA member. He's an entrepreneur now. DECA made an impact on him. DECA wants those success stories. So they don't have to be students that you've taught. You're just going to have to do some research on your own, do some digging to find out who those people are. And usually teachers within your school can help you with that information as well. That's all I've got, Sandy.
All right. Well, I see that we have 2 more teachers who've joined us. We've got Teresa Milliken, and did I say that right, Teresa Milliken? Yeah, okay. And Jen Caffarelli. So I'm gonna, but first I have to ask Keegan, are you meeting with Ara Bagdasarian for the lemonade stand? Is he coming out to talk to you?
No.
Oh, okay. Because we have an author here in our local community who wrote the lemonade stand book, and it's an entrepreneurship program that I piloted last year for them. But you'll see it it's in that picture for the READ program. But yeah, excellent opportunities there for entrepreneurship. So what I'm going to do here, since we were able to get Teresa and Jen involved in us, we already talked about the promotional campaign. So would you two be willing to share with our advisors some of the ideas that you guys have planned this year for the promotional campaign, and then if you're doing the global entrepreneurship campaign, go ahead and lead right into that, and we'd love to hear what you guys are working on.
We've started many activities for the Global Entrepreneurship Week. We have one where students are preparing proper business attire, and also doing resume tips. So they're putting it all together now, and we've just scheduled with other teachers to have them go into their classrooms during that week, which will meet the requirements. Another thing that we always do is we do a He-Man volleyball game where the senior boys challenge the varsity volleyball team to 2 to 3 matches of volleyball. And what we do is, of course, we fund for Limbs for Life this year we're doing. But they have young entrepreneurs that they seek out in the community that like to rap or do country singing, and they are our entertainment in between matches. So that's going to be one of our campaigns. So we do it every year. We just made sure this year it fell on that week. So we take a lot of things we're already doing and find out the week that we need to make it. We also are going to be taking the alumni success stories that we have for entrepreneurs, and we're going to display them during that week. We're going to do in the Commons a big display of them. And the kids have used our past yearbooks. They've gone through many of the yearbooks, and they take all of our prior DECA members, and then they Facebook them and try to find out if they would be interested in being alumni members. That's how we've obtained them.
Okay, and what about the promotional campaign? Are you working on that this year as well?
Yes, we have. We've been doing a lot of our promotions surrounding a community center that we have. We have a community center that started, it was a food bank, and they also serve every third Saturday, they serve meals, soup to the public. So we took a few rooms in that building, and we actually have clothing that we've gotten donated from staff, and we took all the lockers and cleaned them out this year and took all of the clothing, and we made a teens closet, and we have clothes for teens in the community. So we did that. That's one of our big promotions, and we've gotten staff and all the students involved in donating. We also have done a coupon drive. We took and we clipped thousands and thousands of coupons. We've been asking for them from staff and from the community members, and in the food bank we're doing couponing tips. We've kind of researched extreme couponing a little bit. Some of the other activities we've done is some of the clothes that we've gathered that were plain, like orange and blue, those are our colors. We've taken them and we have a lot of scrap heat press imprints because we heat press a lot of clothing ourselves here, and we're making spirit wear for a lot of our students as well from that. We're just trying to do a lot of recycling and staying green here. We also have prom dresses at this center where we are collecting prom dresses from people in the community, and it's called Operation Glass Slipper. And for homecoming, actually, we've already had 8 young ladies come in and get their homecoming dresses. So we're doing a lot of recycling and a lot of trading of products. Okay,
excellent. Well, thank you guys for sharing those ideas. I'm so excited for our advisors because each of you had something very creative, and it's very different, and it's certainly very different from what my chapter used to do. So we're going to move on next to our community service campaign, and this one I think is probably one of the easiest ways to really get your whole chapter involved in something that's significantly important. I mean, it's a valuable experience to serve your community, but DECA has made it very easy. All you simply have to do is one activity in the month of November that serves your community, get at least 75% of your chapter involved in that activity, and then create one promotional or publicity item for the event. That's it, and you'll qualify for that campaign. We did a lot of different things at my chapter. Community service, my former chapter, community service was a big deal. One of the things that they're working on right now, I believe, is a dodgeball tournament for raising money for MDA. One of the other things that we instituted, we did have a school-based enterprise, so it was very easy to integrate a lot of fundraising through that. And we set up a jar, and it was called Change for Charities, Changing Lives. And what we asked our students to do is if they had spare change from their purchase, because we sold snacks and school supplies and that type of thing, they would drop their spare change in the jar. And over the course of a month, we collected almost $200 to give to the charity of choice. This year, I believe they're also doing that for MDA. So I'd love to hear from you guys. Keegan, I'll start with you, and then we'll move to Teresa and Jen.
Well, like you said, just hearing what you guys are sharing. I mean, I've already gotten ideas. It's really important to connect with those mentor advisors or other advisors in your area so you can have that idea exchange. Really like that change for charity. I never even thought about highlighting the entrepreneurs that we found for the campaign. That makes complete sense. So the activity that we are going to probably do for the community service campaign, because we do have a rather large chapter, is our MDA Miracle Minute. Because every person in our school technically is participating in that 1 minute where we're trying to raise as much money as we can for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. We have about 200 student members, so looking at a 75% participation rate would be at about 150 members. For some of our stuff, like the Trick or Can, where we're going out on Halloween and collecting canned food goods, we're just never going to get 150 of our members to participate in that. We'd love to highlight that in this, but we know we won't reach that 75% threshold. There's a chapter in Georgia with over 800 members. So we're talking about 600 members that have to participate in something. So I think you have to take a look at your chapter size and determine what's best for you. I have a friend who has a chapter. They're starting with like 25 members. So for this, I think they could do one of those smaller, really cool events. Ours is a pretty standard event. It's that Miracle Minute. And then our publicity and our promotion, I mean, we could just submit one of our flyers, but we have already contacted our local newspaper and told them we would really like to get some recognition in the newspaper, and that was through one of our student members' parents who works at the newspaper, and they've already promised us, you know, some kind of publicity during DECA week, and they're going to highlight some of those community service aspects that we do plan on doing. So again, don't be afraid to use your resources and ask. The worst that you're going to hear is no from these people.
All right, Teresa and Jen, do you guys have anything to add to that one?
Actually, that's the one of the three that I hadn't planned on doing yet this year.
Okay, well, that's fine. One of the things, Keegan brought up a good point, and one of the things that was challenging for us as well, we had a chapter last year at my former school that was 300 members, and 225 of those were students, and it's really challenging to get 75%. So what we did a lot of, because we're co-curricular and it's part of our classroom curriculum, we actually integrated activities within our classroom based on that event. So if it was something that we had to put promotional materials out for, the class, each class was teamed up and they all had to design a flyer, a promotional tool, and we had laptops available and they did that activity. That got them involved, and then we posted their particular flyer throughout the school. All the groups, if that works. So there's ways that if you can get it integrated into your classroom, you can. It is challenging with larger chapters, but you can get a large portion of your chapter involved if you do it that way. That was my trick. So it was successful for a few things. It wasn't always successful. Like Keegan said, it's just a challenge. But there are some things that you can probably get done. And we had a lot of times my students, their incentive was if they could get out of the classroom arena to do something, that got them involved. So it might have been putting notes, doing something where we were posting on lockers a Generosity Feeds event where we had an event where we put together meals for the community, children in the community who were going home on the weekends without meals. And that involved my classes walking out of the classroom and posting things on lockers and around the school. They love doing that. So again, you just have to kind of think outside the box when you can, because it can be a challenge. But it's definitely doable, and especially the smaller chapters, it's a lot easier. Well, what I want to share with you now are the rewards that come with this, and it's pretty exciting. Now, if you look at the first three campaigns that we talked about Promotional, Global Entrepreneurship Week, and Community Service. They all fall into what we call the blue campaigns. They all kind of are designed around a blue box. And if you complete 2 of those 3 campaigns, you'll receive our highest recognition and rewards. If you complete even just 1 of those campaigns, you're going to receive a pennant and a certificate for your school. But the best part is if you complete 2 of those campaigns completely, do the 3 plus 3 plus 3, 1 plus 1 plus 1, whatever combination you do in those blue boxes, 2 campaigns, you are going to get a pennant, a plaque, a DECA flag, which I got excited about because my DECA flag is old and I needed the updated one, And you're going to get 3 allocations to the new Thrive Academy at ICDC in Anaheim, California. And I can't tell you how many phone calls I've had about how do I get to the Thrive Academy. Well, that's how you get there. So advisors, if you're looking for ways to get your students involved and possibly travel to Anaheim in April, this is one way to do it. And I can't emphasize enough that it's just an incredible opportunity to bring your chapter together as a team and really see who your leaders are, because your leaders will step up in these situations. As I'm sure that Teresa has noticed and Keegan has noticed, you've probably got some significant leadership skills going on with some of these projects, right? Yeah,
Yes.
good, excellent. All right, well, let me talk next about our membership campaign. I always, I've been around long enough that I remember when it was just a membership campaign. Do you remember that, Keegan? Teresa, do you remember when it was just a membership campaign? I know we've got a delay. Now we've got...
I don't think so.
No? Okay. Well, now that DECA has broken it out, I get really excited because we have given chapters opportunities to do things that are unique for them and creative. And it's not just about, building the membership. It's about the community service. It's about the entrepreneurship concepts. But the membership campaign is so easy, you can't help but do it. There's no losing out on this one. When you register, and that's all you have to do is just register your members, you potentially could qualify for some of the rewards. But the first thing you've got to do is register. Now, the way the campaign is going to work, you notice there's no plus signs in there. It's 20, 20, 20. What DECA would like you to do is, if you can get at least one area where you have 20 members, either 20 student members more than you had last year, or 20 alumni registered, or 20 professional members registered, you're going to get a pennant and a certificate to recognize your chapter. But if you get 20 in 2 of those 3 categories, you're going to get, and I'm going to put this up here for you. It'll click on it. There we go. You're going to get a pennant, a plaque, a DECA flag, and 3 allocations to the brand new Thrive Academy. Now, these are 3 additional allocations to the Thrive Academy from the other blue campaigns. So potentially, and I know Keegan's brain's working, I know he's going to make this happen probably for his chapter, potentially you could be sending 6 students to the Thrive Academy if you did all of these campaigns. What I know that my former chapter is working on, they have already acquired 20 professional members, and they're working on 20 more student members than last year. So once they get to that point, they will have achieved this membership campaign. And it's as easy as just registering those members. Once you register, as long as you do that by the November 30th deadline, we will then go in and see who qualifies for the nice rewards. So what I wanted to ask, I'll share 2 ideas, two techniques that we've used, and I'm going to ask Teresa and Keegan to share. One of the things we did last year, and I know it's a little late in the season for some advisors, but we took our membership form that we used for our members to register for DECA at my former school, and on the back we added an area for parents to register. We didn't charge them as much as we would the students' fees, because the students included a t-shirt and some activities. But for a $20 fee, or whatever you'd deem fit, the parents from my former chapter were able to join as professional members. We had a few that were alumni, so that was kind of cool. That made it easy to do our other campaigns. We also instituted what was called a professional letter. It was something that was written to the professional community. It could be given to your neighbors, to your relatives, to your parents if you wanted to your dentist, your employer, your doctor, whoever you felt might make a good professional member. A lot of our students also try to make connections through our small business development council in our county, as well as our local chamber of commerce. Some of our vendors that came in to visit us for our school store, our school-based enterprise, our students first thing invited them to join our chapter, and a few of them did. So again, you can come up with some tools. That one tool that we got from another chapter, we didn't come up with it on our own. I had another teacher share. That netted us from 10 alumni and professional all the way up to 65 last year. So it was an incredible tool for us. Keegan, what are some techniques that your chapter uses to grow your membership or complete a campaign like this?
For student members, I would say we do a lot of things over the summer. We have tables set up for our officers and members to promote DECA at registration. They are also there at back to school night. And for all of those nights, I have the officer team or the members working the table wearing their DECA blazers typically, because parents are usually there. And that just really adds value to your brand that you're trying to promote, DECA, rather than just their casual clothing. So I always try to get my officers wearing their blazers. It just adds a level of professionalism. In the beginning of the year, we have our officers present to all of the business and marketing classes at Appleton East. At that, my students are wearing the chapter t-shirts that we created over the summer, and right then and there, students can sign up and register and get a t-shirt. So making a really cool t-shirt has a really huge impact on who joins our chapter. We have a lot of kids that join our chapter, and we refer to them as t-shirt members because they don't do a lot over the course of the year. But hey, we'll let you promote our brand, and we'll reap the benefits for you joining our chapter. We do a student parent mailing where we send a letter home to all of our students' parents that are in our marketing classes, encouraging membership and encouraging competition. We have display case updates throughout the year so that students are aware of what we're doing in DECA, and then that helps to get students to register for marketing classes or business classes, because that's a component of being a DECA member within our chapter. We started a membership recruitment challenge this year to try and recruit more alumni and professional members. That's been going okay. A lot of it has been me reaching out to my alumni. This is the first time I've ever asked them to pay to be members, and I had an overwhelming good response. We've had almost 30 members join as alumni where they're actually paying and they're not getting a t-shirt, where they're just, it's a good thank you to their chapter. And we created that YouTube video last year based on Sexy and I Know It, and we did DECA and I Know It, and that has just led to a ton of popularity for our chapter. The kids want to be in that video this year, so that's led to people wanting to be in the chapter. So from the student perspective, we haven't really struggled with getting new student members. It's just being willing to ask your alumni to pay to be members. I know that can kind of be uncomfortable for some people, but I think you would be surprised how many of them will say yes. For our business and professional members, we have an officer dedicated to business partnerships. So over the summer, she's going around securing business partners to pay $200 to partner with our chapter. They get a certificate that's framed. They get the opportunity to come in and speak to our members and the opportunity to partner with us on some of our events. So out of that $200, we use some of that funding to pay for their membership fee to be professional members. So again, just be willing to ask anyone and everyone. And I think this is the easiest campaign by far.
All right, Teresa, do you guys have a plan of how you get your increased members or get alumni or professionals?
I can tell you what we did last year. Last year we had a scavenger hunt, and we took 4 different areas. On Monday they stopped in and they picked up a canister, and they also picked up the rules on Monday. The rules included that they had to collect money for MDA in the canister, and at the end of the week we would name a queen or king of the MDA. We also had a station. They had some testing materials that they would study during the week. On Friday, when we did the scavenger hunt, they would take a test. That was another component of it. We also had, like, what is DECA? A lot of people asked that question. We had a little, like, they had to tell what was DECA. That was one of the stations. And then the 4th station was that during the week they needed to recruit either alumni member, a new DECA member, or a business member, and have that available and ready on that Friday. So it was part of our scavenger hunt. So then on Friday, everyone came, and they had those 4 components they had to finish up. So that was successful last year. We did recruit a lot of new members, and last year our focus was on 8th grade. We went to the middle school a lot. We did the dances at the middle school. We did the orientation. Everything that would require, what they need to learn about the high school, we were there, and we went from 2 freshmen to 20 freshmen last year. they can take the business class, and it also helped with the business class numbers as a freshman. But I think the biggest thing was just we wanted to get people started earlier in DECA.
Okay, well, those are really good ideas. Keegan, I love the fact that you built business partnerships and you asked them for a lot more than my $20 that we did. That's kind of cool because that does help your chapter a lot. And you were talking about the T-shirts. One of the things that we did also as a chapter before my students left for the school year, we elect our leadership team at the end of the school year, and that leadership team sat down and designed the T-shirt for the next year. So they actually had ownership. By the time they stepped in the door for training a couple weeks before school started, they had their T-shirts, and as soon as members started registering, they could get their T-shirt. And it's same thing, it's branding your chapter. So everyone looked forward to the T-shirt. So yeah, you're right. We had a lot of T-shirt members as well, but it's fun to see them walking around the school, and some of them became sort of vintage. We had siblings who were stealing their older siblings' shirts and wearing them at school. So that was kind of fun to see that evolve because our school is only in its 10th year this year. So some of them are now becoming retro, and it's pretty cool. But yeah, this campaign, as Keegan said, is probably one of the easiest ones that I've seen in a long time. It certainly is attainable. And even as a new chapter, you can do this. You can get these members and get the recognition. So now we're moving on. I don't want to hold everybody up too much. We're moving on to the advocacy campaign, and this is something that is done later in the year. This is really designed to kind of make the general public aware, promote DECA within your communities, within your school, and gain that support that you're going to need to continue on, not just in the spring, but the following year. So there's a lot of activities that DECA has posted, some cool ideas, some things that have been successful for other chapters, but this one again is a 3+3+3. So you will need to do 3 school outreach activities that that advocate for DECA. It's usually done during the Career and Technical Education Month, which is in February. So that promotes not just the DECA program, but your business and marketing programs or entrepreneurship programs, finance, hospitality, whatever programs you are teaching that fit into that CTE month. You're also going to want to reach out to 4 to 3 public policymakers and share with them what DECA is and how it's had an impact for your students. And you're going to have your students do this, as well as 3 community outreach activities. Looking at those, the activities that we've got posted in here in our program, things like for the school, ask students to write testimonials. I've had my principal write a testimonial for us. When you go to work with your public policymakers, ask them to make a statement of support for career and technical education. You could do the proclamation if you wanted to, just like Keegan did for the month of October, something similar to that. And within your community, maybe go to some of the National Advisory Board members that DECA has. If they're local, visit with them and share with them what your DECA chapter has been involved in and its successes and how their involvement has helped your students. There's a lot of great ideas. The rewards for these, again, you'll receive a pennant and a plaque from DECA's Congressional Advisory Board, which is pretty exciting, and you'll get a letter of recognition. And again, many of these campaigns will also be recognized in our DECA program, I believe, at ICDC. So, Chris, if that is the case, I'm pretty sure that that's how most of them are done. So your school will get continued recognition as well. So for Keegan and Teresa and Jen, have you guys done anything like this? I know that I think we saw it last year maybe for the first time. My chapter did not get involved with this, just like Keegan said, we didn't get involved in the entrepreneurship one either because we weren't sure we could do it. But now that I look at it, I'm very confident that these are things that my chapter members not only can do, but they're already doing. We just have to document it. So Keegan, I'll start with you. Are there things that you guys have planned for this year that you might get involved in this campaign?
Yeah, we looked at, well, we were at ICDC last year, and this came out at ICDC last year, this reward structure, and my officer team that all graduated said, you guys need to do all of them this year. So We're trying for all 5. A big part of it is the ribbons you get on your name tag at ICDC. Those are important little things that the kids love, and to be honest, advisors do too. So we're planning on doing it. Our DECA chapter is pretty strong in our school, and the other career and technical education departments, we have a really good relationship with family consumer ed and technical education. So one of our school outreach activities we're going to do is our members are going to deliver donuts to every career and technical educator in our school with just a thank you for what you do, because those people are important in our school building. One thing that we learn about in our marketing education classes are press kits. So we're going to create one just based on our DECA chapter, and we're going to give those to people that we call our friends in high places in the Appleton Area School District. Anything that we think is important about DECA, past news clippings, press releases we've sent out, cards, awards that we've won, anything that would be powerful to hand to somebody like a principal, like a superintendent, a school board member, and then we'll probably use that in years ahead. We're going to do a social media campaign during the month of February, highlighting the great things that all career and technical educators do within Appleton East High School, and not just the marketing and business education department, because we do need to be a cohesive unit in our district. For the public policy makers outreach, this is really where you can integrate the classroom, I believe. We are going to do the letter writing campaign. I read about that, and I think it'll be a hero. And we're just going to ask the students to answer, what has CTE done for you? And then we're going to send those letters to our local legislators, because those people have an influence on Carl Perkins funding and other funding for marketing and business education and other career and technical education areas. We are going to, again, knock on our mayor's door and ask him to sign a proclamation for the month of February, making it Career and Technical Education Month, and history has proved that he's willing to do that for us. The officer team is going to be making a presentation to our school board that night, and they are very receptive to having students come in and present. It's something that they actually look forward to, rather than just constantly hearing from adults. So they're going to go in and kind of give them the recap of what they've done so far this year, and then tell them what our plans are moving forward, and that will be right before our state competition. So they'll have some great competitive events, especially within the written events, that they can highlight with the school board members and talk about how career and technical education has helped them. Community outreach, again, another area where you can incorporate it into your classroom. We are going to try to do some public service announcements through different media, and my marketing students can create some of that and reach out to our Fox Cities magazine. It's something specific to Appleton, but you probably have something like it in your area. Woodward Communications controls a lot of the radio stations in the area, and radio stations and the companies that control the billboards, they all have a certain number of public service announcements that they must do for charities and 401c3s. So just having the students make the ask instead of the teachers, I think they'll listen more closely, just like with your administrators. We're going to contact the newspaper. We're going to get guest speakers from our business partners to come in and talk about jobs that are available within career and technical industries right now within our area, because we know that there is a need. We also are going to try to do a presentation for our local Chamber of Commerce and tell them about the great things that DECA is doing, because just more and more people that are finding out what DECA is, it's going to create a stronger brand. And we've come a long way in 10 years. When I first started, no one had a clue what DECA was, and now, you know, we kind of built a name for ourselves. So that's all we've got planned for this year, and we're hoping to, you know, make all 5 of these campaigns.
Wow, that's incredible. I just got some really good ideas to share with a lot of other teachers that I know. Teresa and Jen, are you guys planning on doing this campaign as well?
Yes, we are. We did do it last year. We did the business letters. We actually had this, through my classroom, we had the business letters, just proper business format. We tried like having it as just a part of just general DECA, going out there and doing it, and they weren't doing it for us. So we thought if we put it as a classroom assignment, it would get done, and it did. So that's how we worked that. But we had lots of career speakers last year, and we did go to our Board of Education several times, as well as we went to the Wayne County, the county that we live in, we work in here. We went to them and also told them what DECA was as well. So we plan on doing it this year. My partner, advisor, Linda Bomarino, will be the one who's running that one. So she has all the details, sorry to say.
Oh, that's okay. I'm glad to hear that we've got a couple chapters out there that are going to work on it. And I love hearing the fact that we've got a school, and I'm sure we have a few of them out there that are going to thrive for 5. Those 5 campaigns are really going to be fun. And yeah, it's going to be a challenge to do them, but you know, Keegan, especially for you guys, if you've got students motivated to do all 5 of them, man, let them run with it. That's just so cool. I'm really excited for you guys. All right, well, next I'm going to move on to some cool ideas, and we're just about done. In the Be a Hero book, there's a listing of a lot of cool ideas. So you're going to see some things about some of the promotional activities that students and schools have done, any of the entrepreneurship-related ones, community service, and so on. Keegan and Teresa and Jen have shared a lot of these ideas, but there's more available. And these aren't the only ones. Please don't think that what we have in there or what we've said is the only thing you can do. Be creative. Think outside the DECA diamond. There's so many things that will qualify for many of these campaigns. So, you know, don't let it scare you. That's the one thing I probably need to say. It doesn't have to be overwhelming, and you certainly want to get your students involved in this. It really gives them something active to work on and do. I think Keegan mentioned a lot of these. These are some of the activities that we've talked about: letter writing campaigns, advertisements for your membership, and any, you know, what they call entrepreneurship speed networking, which is really networking with your business community. And social media is going to play a huge role for some of your chapters out there, especially Facebook. I know that my former chapter set up a Facebook page. They've been able to communicate with a lot of their alumni members at this point, and it's really taking off. So if you can do that, you know, that's another way. My last few suggestions are this, and I'm going to let Keegan and Teresa and Jen share some of theirs as well, but my suggestions are to, if you can, and I know some of you are just stepping into your role as an advisor. So, you know, you have 2 very experienced advisors who've been sharing with you, and we have one that Jen's a student teacher, but I know she's been actively involved with Teresa's chapter. You want to start as early as you can. That will, honestly, I will tell you, will save your sanity. If, you know, for next year, if you didn't get a head start this year, it's okay. There's still time to get these done. But for next year, you might want to think about starting with your leadership team at the end of the school year. You know, start setting up ideas. DECA will put out the membership campaign requirements before the school year's out. They put them out right around ICDC time. So they're available for you to start taking a look at and making a plan. You want to definitely get your leadership team involved in this. This is what's going to help you. You certainly don't want to be the one doing all the work. Definitely take lots of pictures. This was always my challenge, trying to find my students who took the pictures and getting them together. But the pictures will make it. It looks fun. I used to plaster them all over our bulletin boards in our room, and the kids love that. One year we put them all outside of my classroom door, each event, so they could see what was going on. And other kids stopped by to see what in the world we were doing with DECA, because those pictures were posted everywhere. So take lots and lots of pictures. And you want to work efficiently or work smart. You want to definitely have synergy with your team, but do it as efficiently as you can so that you're not spending a lot of your time doing things that you could have other people working on or you could get done quickly. And a lot of these resources are available on our website, and you've got other teachers out there that are certainly ready to help. Keegan and Teresa, do you have any other suggestions before we wrap this up?
I would say, like you were talking about, social media is so influential with young people right now. If your chapter doesn't have a Facebook page or a Twitter page, I would recommend getting a student in charge of that, or if you want to take that on, or following other chapters, or of course National DECA. You're going to keep up to date with what's going on, but that's how we get a lot of our ideas. I mean, there's awesome chapters all across the country, and they're sharing a lot of the stuff that they do, so there's no sense in reinventing the wheel. And like Sandy said, taking pictures of everything. My students pick on me about the amount of pictures I take, but then they're waiting for me to upload the photos to our Facebook page and tag them. So I know they end up liking it, and it leads to more involvement. For example, we do the polar plunge every year in Wisconsin here, where we all jump in a lake in the middle of January and February to raise money for Special Olympics. Those make for great pictures, and those are really powerful for the next year. You see smiles on kids' faces. They realize it's not the end of the world. We raise a ton of money for the Special Olympics, so those pictures can be very powerful. And just having your leaders connect with leaders from across the country. I mean, for example, there's a great kid in Cactus Shadows DECA in Arizona, and he's always talking about DECA through Facebook and Twitter. And just having that enthusiasm rub off on your chapter leaders can really go a long way. So, if you're not comfortable with the social media piece, get one of your chapter leaders to do that for you. I think that's something that's key. That's it.
That's exactly what I did. I had my students take charge of that because that wasn't my thing. And I just didn't have the time in my day. We couldn't do it from school. And we know our students are night owls, and I'm not. So they were very actively engaged in getting their Facebook updated, and it really helped. It helped with our communication strategy for one thing, but it did help us with sharing ideas, and I think they got a lot of good ideas from that too. Teresa and Jen, have you guys had any success with social media, or do you have any other suggestions for advisors?
Yes, we do. We do have a Facebook page, and it's how I communicate with them about meetings, and they communicate ideas with each other. It works real well.
Kind of plan what you're doing and just put it into the weeks that everything works for the promotions and for the Thrive. Put it into that time frame if you're already planning it. And we love taking pictures of all of our students and our DECA members too. A lot of times when I take the camera on class, I have kids asking me to take pictures of them.
Yeah, I can only imagine. All right, well, do either or any of you have anything else to share before we wrap this up?
Thanks for inviting us.
We so appreciate we appreciate you joining us. I mean, I know we have one more advisor that we tried to get on board, so I'm sorry that we missed her, but there's a lot of great advisors and chapters out there. So please connect with them if you can in your local area. Talk to them about what they're doing. Find out with your association advisors. They probably have some ideas for you as well, and they're going to be willing to share those. My contact information, or the contact information, sorry, is up there on how to register your campaigns, and that's the one last thing that I want to talk about. The 3 that are in the blue box, 2 of them, well, all 3 of them must be done by November 30th. And they're very specific time frames. The membership campaign must also be done by November 30th, but you have until March 1st to do the advocacy campaign, and those activities must, I believe, they are going to take place in the month of February. So you have a little time on that one. But all you need to do is go to the DECA website. It's www.deca.org/page/campaigns, and then you'll be ready to register. One last trick that I want to share with you when you go to register for your campaigns is don't go online to register until you're ready to put everything in. The form itself allows you to enter all the information that you need to and upload pictures, but it will not save and allow you to come back later. So once you're ready, then you want to go ahead and go online and register. It's really easy. What I suggest is have your students document your events as they happen. Document them in a Word document so that you can copy and paste those straight into the form that we have. All the form is going to do is say, it'll be listed like, you'll click on the one for promotional campaign, and it'll say school outreach activity number 1, and you provide a description. It'll say school outreach activity number 2. You provide a description. The one thing I ask is that you give me more than 1 sentence so that we can see what you did. Talk about the activity, when it happened, where it happened, and the outcome. Give us some details. We want to hear the cool things that you guys are doing. When you do your alumni success stories, tell me their story. Don't just give me their job title. Tell me their story. So have your students start documenting this so that it's real simple. It's just a copy and paste into the form, and the form itself is easy to use. There's once you go to the link that's here, you'll see links on the side for each individual campaign. So you'll need to click on those, and that will give you the form for that very specific campaign. So at this time, I'm going to wrap things up. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Young, for getting us set up today. And Jen, I'm so glad you could join Teresa today. I wish you the best in your student teaching experience. And Keegan, Appleton East is just rocking. I'm so excited for you guys. You have really got a lot of activities going on. So I'm excited to see what happens. And again, if anyone has any questions out there that you aren't sure about the campaigns, all you need to do is contact me through email or call our office here at DECA headquarters in Virginia. My email address is sandra_tucker@deca.org. It's on the website for the membership campaigns, or you can call our number at 703-860-5000. So again, thank you all very much. I wish you the best. Good luck this year, and I look forward to getting all those membership campaigns turned in and seeing what cool stuff you guys did. So thank you.
Thanks, Sandy.
You're welcome.